Hey, what's going on guys? Jake Verdon Tech here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series S once again, but a little bit of a change. I'm pairing it with a new monitor I just picked up, which is a very high refresh rate monitor from Alienware, and we're going to kind of talk about what kind of experience I've had gaming with it and what kind of performance we've been getting with this duo between the Series S and this high refresh rate monitor. So starting off, I wanted to pick up another monitor for a number of reasons. One being I kind of wanted a designated monitor to play my consoles on that is a native 16:9 aspect ratio. I do usually play consoles, or I have played my consoles on my ultra wide monitor, but it is one of those cases where you get some black bars on the sides, which this isn't a huge deal, but it is kind of a pain having those black bars on the sides. And then too, the performance I don't believe is as good as playing it on the native aspect ratio of 16:9, as we got a little bit different dimensions playing on the 21:9 aspect ratio monitor. So having a designated monitor for my consoles is one reason. Another reason is I really wanted to get into some higher refresh rate gaming on my PC when it comes to more competitive titles, which the monitor that I usually game on when it comes to PC games is my ultra-wide Alienware monitor, which is phenomenal, especially for more immersive titles that are less competitive. But I kind of wanted to try gaming on something that is a regular 16:9 aspect ratio monitor, where it kind of narrows down your field of view, where you're a little bit more focused in a smaller window, and you're a little bit less leery of looking off to the sides like on an ultra wide, where you get that little bit more field of view being a 21:9. And I just wanted to experience 240 Hz. So giving you guys a quick rundown of the monitor, this is the Alienware AW2521HF. This particular Alienware is a 25-inch monitor, 1080p panel that runs at 240 Hz, and this is a IPS display also. And that is one of the main reasons why I really like this particular Alienware monitor, because in the past couple of years they made monitors very similar, but they were a TN panel. So with the previous TN panels, the viewing angles aren't going to be as good, and the overall display quality isn't going to be as good as what you get out of an IPS panel. So for this video, I didn't want to go too in depth on the monitor, but I wanted to give you guys a good idea on the specs of this monitor that we're using. I'm definitely going to save that for another video where we individually review this Alienware monitor. But for this video, I really wanted to talk about how this monitor performs with the Xbox Series S, and if this is one of the best choices you can purchase as far as a display for your next gen console. So my first impressions on the gaming experience using this Alienware monitor with my Xbox Series S is overall extremely good. It's very comfortable to game on, and I think it is a little bit overkill being 240 Hz when the Xbox Series S at the most, as far as frame rate goes, is only going to push about 120 FPS at best scenario. But knowing that, that means this monitor will be showing you every single frame that your console is outputting. And for the more competitive titles that I played, like Halo Infinite and Splitgate, this monitor felt extremely good. And unfortunately, with some of the titles I was playing, I wasn't able to get an exact frame rate as I didn't have an FPS counter set up for any of these titles, but I gotta say, from gaming on it, we're definitely over the 60 FPS mark, and with this monitor being 240 Hz, when we were gaming, we were getting the most refreshed image compared to like a monitor that's only 60 hertz, where the screen's refreshing far less than a monitor that is 240 hertz in a certain amount of time. And that refresh rate paired with a extremely low 1 millisecond response time has a extremely snappy instant gaming experience. Going to a bit more immersive title like Forza Horizon was also very pleasurable on this monitor. The graphics look really stunning being on this IPS display, and of course having that very fast refresh rate at 240 hertz really gave us a very smooth, buttery gaming experience. So this particular Alienware monitor, the AW2521HF, in my opinion is a really solid, comfortable gaming experience when paired with the Xbox Series S, but that's not to say it is the best monitor for your next gen console. If you are just looking for 1080p high refresh rate gaming, I think this is a really good choice as far as monitors go. There might be some options out there that are a bit lower in price, but overall, anything I've owned from Alienware has been a really good solid product. But there is definitely, when talking about this monitor being 1080p 240 hertz, there is some performance left on the table when it comes to pairing them with your next gen console. So in this video we are speaking in terms of the Series S, which is said for some titles can output a 1440p resolution. It's very sparse from what I'm seeing on the available titles that can run at that resolution. A couple that I saw was like Borderlands, Star Wars Squadrons, Rogue Company, and like I said, the list of titles that can actually be run at 1440p on the Series S is really sparse. So, but there are titles out there that can run at 1440p, and with this particular monitor, the highest resolution is 1080p. So there are definitely some other monitors out there that'll get you that 1440p resolution, and they'll also get you a pretty high refresh rate. Monitors like the Asus TUF series that I've seen that are 1440p and usually run anywhere from 144 Hz to 165 Hz, which as far as refresh rate goes, that's plenty for the Series S, being that it's only going to output about 120 FPS at the best. But for my particular application, like I mentioned earlier, I do want to use this monitor for PC gaming as well. And with my particular PC, there are some titles where I can push over 200 FPS, and with this monitor I'll be able to see all those frames getting rendered, being a 240 Hz monitor. So this really depends all on the application. If you're like me and you're doing a variety of gaming, whether it's on the Series S or a PC, I'll probably be using my Nintendo Switch on this monitor a little bit. 1440p definitely wasn't my top priority. It was mostly just having a high refresh rate, solid 1080p IPS experience, and I think that's where a monitor like this really comes in. It just giving you the best 1080p experience you can get and having a very high refresh rate for more competitive games. So unfortunately, I really can't say this is the absolute best monitor that you can get for your Xbox Series S or next gen console, because like I said, there is performance left on the table when it comes to resolution, as you can search and pick up a monitor that is a 1440p display, and that's going to give you a refresh rate that your Series S can put out. But I think this is a really good option if you're maybe someone like me who's going to be doing a little bit of a variety of devices, other consoles, PCs, and you're just looking for a really good 1080p display that is a high refresh rate to cover all those variety of devices you're going to be using on it. I think this Alienware monitor is a great way to go. That's going to wrap up this video, guys. Really just wanted to give you a rundown of the overall gaming experience when pairing the Xbox Series S with a higher refresh rate display, because you might be getting into a next gen console, but you might not have a display that is next gen ready. And if you are running a older display that's only around 60 Hz, the upgrade to a new display that gets you over 100 Hz is definitely worth it in my opinion, and you're not leaving that performance of your new console on the table. And luckily, as far as finding a display that's going to cover the performance of the Series S, is far easier than finding one that is going to cover the bases of the Series X or the PS5, as if you want to do the 4K 60 gaming on those devices, you are going to need to find a display that's HDMI 2.1, which there's not a whole lot of options out there on the market quite yet, and they are very expensive. So that might be something we'll talk about in another video. But as far as finding a display for your Series S that really checks all the boxes as far as resolution and refresh rate goes, you got a pretty good variety out there on the market. So I am going to be doing a full review on this particular Alienware monitor very soon, as I've really enjoyed gaming on it when it's come to gaming with the Series S or my PC. So I definitely want to go a little bit more in depth on the monitor, talking about it and all of its features. So we'll probably do that in another video here pretty soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like on it. And if you want to see more tech related videos like this one, be sure to subscribe. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.